It's been 2 years since the release of Cities Skylines 2, and there was no No Man's Sky moment, no heroic comeback story to talk about, because now we have the news that the developers Colossal Order are parting ways with Paradox Interactive and Cities Skylines 2, in fact, the whole Cities series. Some say they were fired, but in a nicer way, they are leaving the development of the game in the good hands of Paradox Interactive, and the developer Paradox are assigning the, quite frankly, unenviable task of continued development of Cities Skylines 2. Colossal Order will no longer be working on Cities Skylines 2 in 2026, which means they have their work cut out for them. They don't really have much time to release that bike patch, some bug fixes, and beta access to asset mods in the editor that they have promised, but that's what they've planned to release in this month or two. The PR speak from Paradox Interactive, Colossal Order, and Ice Flake Studios, which is the internal studio under Paradox that are taking over, all sound positive as per usual PR speak. No one's going to come out and say, oh, it was an absolute nightmare, or good riddance, or we had sleepless nights over Cities Skylines 2. Which undoubtedly I'm sure some of the devs of Cities Skylines 2 from CO must have had. This was a game the studio dedicated years to conceptualize, develop, and continuously optimize. Rather fix. The success of Cities Skylines and the failure of Cities Skylines 2 has been ingrained with the identity of Colossal Order. The question everyone has right now, what will actually happen to Cities Skylines 2? Cities Skylines is a major franchise for Paradox, in fact, it is the most profitable franchise for them, so without the original developers, well, we basically have another surviving Mars situation. This has happened before in the past. Hemimod Games developed Surviving Mars, and Paradox handed expansion developments to Abstraction Games. I think the reception for these expansions weren't great, which is no surprise. I do see Paradox Interactive extracting as much value, or rather revenue, from Cities Skylines 2. Now I know that may sound rather cynical of me, but it is a fact. They are a business, and businesses will want to make the most from a property they know they can still make money from. Unlike, say, Prison Architect, which rest in peace Prison Architect 2, it was a questionable idea to begin with, and it was not worth the effort of spending resources to develop, or rather redevelop, the sequel. I'm not sure how much rework or improvements Ice Flake Studios can bring to Cities 2. As admitted by them, it may take a while before they roll out any new updates, which means it's going to take some time for them to learn and get used to the engine and the inner workings of Cities 2. But once they get acquainted to the game, I think it's fair to expect expansions to further monetize this rather disappointing sequel. This is, after all, a Paradox Interactive game. The thing that surprised me most is that CO will also hand over the development duty of making the console edition of Cities 2. Which, oh boy, that's a heck of a responsibility for Ice Flake Studios to port this big mother-trucking performance hog of a game to consoles. I'm not even sure how far CO has worked on a console version, or Ice Flake will just begin development of it. I know CO prioritized performance issues before even talking about console editions, but for Paradox Interactive, I think the console edition was not something they could think about delaying further or outright cancelling it. This could be the main culprit to the breakdown between CO and Paradox. And to be absolutely fair, CO does share a big portion of the blame as well for failing to make significant improvements in a timely fashion, that they could have turned this game around faster. They took a bit too long for any of the updates. They delayed the Bridges and Ports expansion this year, which just got released last month. I also think Paradox Interactive knows they probably won't be able to get the player base from Cities 1, most of them, to jump back to Cities 2. Cities Skylines 1 still has a bigger player count. They have thrown the towel on that front, so the console edition is a revenue generator to sell to a whole new audience. That is probably the last big release for Cities 2. Still though, it would be interesting to see what sort of content Iceflake Studios will be bringing to the table. I think they will be doing a lot of listening to the community before even thinking about new ideas for expansions or content updates. They've not had the greatest of track records. They did Surviving the Aftermath, which was an okay game. I think that game got buried by a whole host of much better post-apocalyptic survival games, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Iceflake Studios will be sharing their future plans of Cities 2 in the coming weeks. I really wanted to jump back into Cities Skylines 2 recently as the year comes to an end, just to see how much it's changed. Now learning about this news kinda ruined my plans to do so, not gonna lie. But I want to hear from you. If you've played Cities 2, how is the state of the game right now? Is it fixed? Has it become a great city builder of its own? Tell me in the comments. Thanks for watching and farewell, noble friends.